I think it's fair to say that we can all use a few good tips and tricks. The good news is YouTube is the go-to place to get assistance from self-proclaimed subject matter experts. What wise counsel can I glean from YouTube today?
They haven't been flying?
They were when I first came up.
As you've probably experienced, the quality of information varies greatly. Which begs the question, what is the value of free advice? I've long adhered to my father-in-law's guidance about advice. He said something to the effect, I don't give advice because the wise don't need it and the foolish don't heed it. Now that's a good tip. I should follow the advice of my father-in-law. I ought to probably forego any unsolicited advice. Instead of advice, how about lessons? Yeah, lessons I've learned over the last 9 years photographing birds. Lesson number 1. I ruined bird watching with bird photography. Katie and I were bird watchers long before we were bird photographers. We'd never leave home without our Kaufman field guide and our trusty binoculars. We were always on the lookout for new species to add to our life list. There was nothing quite like the feeling of spotting a bird for the first time. After years of bird watching, Katie suggested that it would be nice if she could just press a button on her binoculars to take a picture. As innocent as that sounds, that remark was the catalyst that sparked our interest in bird photography. We learned quick that bird photography complicated the experience. It's simple. Watching birds and photographing birds is just not the same. Our field trips often turned into frustrating debacles where we fumbled with camera settings and struggled with what proved to be some pretty inadequate equipment. As frustrating as those moments were, we always managed to get that one shot that gave us hope. Perhaps the bird photography thing could be fun after all. Which leads me to lesson number 2. You need to just chill out. It's a lifelong hobby. I recognize that I'm a product of the instant gratification society. I want it all and I want it now. I want my bird photography images to look like what I see in those magazines. I recall with embarrassment the little tantrums I'd throw in my early years of bird photography. Why isn't the image sharp? How did I completely miss the exposure? Why did I just spend 3 hours driving and 6 hours hiking, only to come away with nothing? The fact is, no matter how great you are at photographing birds, you're going to have some bad days. Additionally, even on the good days, you're often deleting 90% of your images. It's important to just temper your expectations. My expectations are not well defined. They're more like hopes and dreams. Over the years, I've learned that what I'm really looking for is just to be surprised. I realized that I'm only going to make 5 or 6 really good images a year, and that's subjective. I'm talking about those images you want to show off to your friends. So I go out into the world with this mantra playing in my head. Chill out, Josh. It's a beautiful, lifelong hobby. Just relax and take it all in. And if you're lucky, you might just make a beautiful image. Lesson number 3, there's no substitute for time and effort. 9 years, like I said, that's how long I've been photographing birds. I look back and it's evident that I figured a few things out along the way. I like to think that I might even improve a little more as time passes. Well, I hope so. I do know this, it takes time and it takes a lot of effort. I can only get so far watching those tips and tricks. You just got to get out there and put it to the test. Become one with your equipment. Internalize what it takes to make good images. I found the less I'm thinking and the more I'm reacting, the better my images are. Hundreds of thousands of images a year. That's what I take. It takes a lot of failing and a little bit of success to fully understand the process. I've learned through some crazy experiences that there's nothing more beneficial than those little failures. Lesson number 4, it's not a competition. It's easy to think just the opposite, that this is a competition. How many likes did I get on that last photo? How many followers do I have? What lens is she using? My images could be better if I was using the lens she had. And if I could go to Africa, oh man, I could take such beautiful images. It's unfortunate that we live in a society where there's a scorecard on every app. It's been proven time and time again that comparison is the thief of joy. And I found myself falling into that trap. And look, competition, it's not new. However, we used to choose whether we wanted to be in a competition or not. Today, you're just thrown into the mix the moment you log on to Instagram. It's difficult, but I've learned to focus more on where I come from, what I'm doing now, and where I'm heading. I try to avoid comparing someone's middle to my beginning. On the contrary, I've made it a point to celebrate other people's success. Which leads me to the last lesson of this video, lesson number 5. One of the most valuable lessons I've learned, not just in this hobby, but in life. Surround yourself with good people, and more importantly, be a good person to be around. Be encouraging. Remember what it was like to start in this hobby. And bring people along. Be willing to share what you've learned and be kind to people as they struggle to figure it out. Inspire, don't discourage. Remember that we're all at different chapters in our lives. It benefits all of us to have just a little perspective. If you can help make it easier for someone else, do it. Remember, we can all use a few good tips and tricks.